What's going on, YouTube? Zubs the Water here, bringing you an OU battle today. This is the premiere of my official OU team. So let me just introduce, or I should say reintroduce my OU team. So Venusaur is pretty much the same set. Sets up Sun, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire, and Growth. Chansey has been switched, so instead of Toxic, it now has Seismic Toss. Rotom is pretty much the same. Volt Switch, Scarf, Trick, yada yada. And Scizor is still banded. So now we get to the new members of this team, starting with Tentacruel, which is taking Blastoise's place as the Rapid Spinner, who also gets a little better defensive typing with its Poison since it resists fighting, and Bug. And Victini, who's taking over Alakazam's job. Sure, Alakazam is a total powerhouse, however, its job was to take out Weather Inducers, a job which Victini does rather well. So enough with my team, let's look at my opponents. My opponent has a Politoed, a Tentacruel, Gengar, Lucario, a Gliscor, and a Toxicroak. Now, I've never played 4th Gen. I started out in 5th Gen, but I'd say this is a 4th Gen team. It still looks like pretty standard rain, which means this is perfect to showcase exactly what my team is meant to do. So enough with the descriptions, let's get to the battle. This battle was against nesjunmen, who I met on the Smogon Wi-Fi-Battle Finder. We actually decided to go 2 rounds because he, quote-unquote, brought the wrong Pokemon. So first turn he's going to send out his Making Rain, perfect, his Politoed. As I send out my Victini, I'm going to go straight up for the final Gambit, knock him out, and this is exactly why Victini is just a little more reliable in his job as taking out the weather setuppers than Alakazam was. With Alakazam, it would have probably been a 2 to 3 hit KO with Energy Ball. But with Victini, one final Gambit, bam, it's gone. So now he goes into his Squid, his Tentacruel, as I go into my Plasma, my Rotom Wash, just to set up, just to scout out what he's going to send out. I go for the Volt Switch, switch into my Venusaur, which means now I'm going to be able to set up the Sun and get rid of his rain. He goes for a Scald, which isn't going to do jack to me. I mean, with a little rain boost, it does maybe like an 1/8, maybe. And I'm going to go for Sunny Day. So guess what? I've got Sun up, and I'm free to start setting up growths. So I set up a growth as he goes for another Scald, and in the Sun, resisted, ain't going to do jack. And he takes this opportunity to switch out, but, you know, I'm on a roll. I'm just going to keep going for these growths. So I've got a really good setup here going. I'm at +4. I got pretty much an advantage over his entire team since he doesn't have any dragons. So I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Fire, and thanks to Pseudo Stab with Sun and the fact that Toxicroak's Dry Skin is going to make it weak, I knock it out no problem. Now, he sends out Gliscor, which doesn't really have the best of defenses to begin with, or special defenses to begin with, so Giga Drain is just going to plain out knock it out. The Sun fades as he sends out his Combat Dog, his Lucario. He goes for Ice Punch, which is going to do a hefty amount, but you know what? My Venusaur is fully invested in HP. He can take hits. So I'm free to go for a Hidden Power Fire, knock him out, and that is the end of Lucario. So I get a crit, doesn't matter. And he's going to switch into his Death Gar now. Now, this is going to cost him. He goes for Hex, and I'm wondering, why is he using Hex? I just don't get that. Him using Hex just cost him here. But on this next turn, I see exactly why. He's going to go for the Venoshock. That's right, Venoshock. And I saw his Tentacruel set up Toxic Spikes earlier. So that means this guy has got a Gengar specific to Toxic Spikes, which is actually not a bad idea. So he sends out his Squid, his last Pokemon, goes for Scald, not going to knock me out. I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, and I have just swept his entire team with my Venusaur. So GG, man. That was interesting to say the least. So, as we head into our second battle, he's going to take out his Gliscor, Politoed, Gengar, and Tentacruel for a Dragonite, Latios, not Latias, Dugtrio, and Ferrothorn, which pretty much counters what I just did to him. But as he's going to see, that's not going to be enough just to counter 2 Pokemon. I'm going to start off with my Mountain Dew Code Red, because I knew he'd lead off the trio, expecting me to lead with Victini, so I'm not really surprised there. He's going to go into his Pimp Knight next, as he realizes he made a fatal error. So I'm going to go for the U-turn. It does a good chunk to a multi-scale Dragonite. Go into my Plasma, my Rotom Wash, go for the Hidden Power Ice, and clean knock out Dragonite. And really, all the dragons in OU are just really overpowered. I'm really looking forward to the new fairy type. So I'm going to pull back my plasma as he goes into his Steel Dawn. I'm going to go into my Victini in before rocks, and I'm going to threaten him out with a V-Create. But I'm not actually going to go for the V-Create because I knew he'd pull back into his Latios, so I decided to go for the U-turn and go into my Mountain Dew Code Red again. And I know from that HP, or that range, a Bullet Punch should knock him out, because I know it does around like 60-70% max to it. Now, he's going to send out his Surrounded. I figure, you know, no big deal. Go for Bullet Punch. He'll survive with a Sash. Except he doesn't have a Sash. That was a very big mistake on his part. Dugtrio is very frail. He needs that Sash. So, seeing the Steel Dan come in, I'm going to switch into my Kraken, my Tentacruel. And now I'm going to go for a Rapid Spin just to get rid of the rocks he set up earlier. He goes for Spikes, which is going to definitely hurt me. And I'm just a little bit worried here, because I can't really have entry hazards up against me. So he's going to send out his Combat Dog, his Lucario, as I go for a Scald, trying to get the burn on the Ferrothorn. And now I think, you know, he's going to Swords Dance, so might as well set up my Rain. Same thing I do with Blastoise. When I know he's going to set up, I set up myself. So Kraken has got a little bit more HP thanks to his Rain Dish and Black Sludge. He's going to go for an Extreme Speed, but you know what? Not going to be enough, because Kraken is just that defensive. So I'm going to go for the Scald, and boosted by the Rain, it's going to do a nice chunk. I get the Burn, which is going to knock him out clean in the next turn. And really, if he did survive, if I didn't get the Burn, I just would have switched into my Scizor and had him kill himself with the Life Orb Recoil. So he goes into his Toxic Gunk, his Toxicroak, and I'm going to speed up this part because it gets a little bit stally. So I'm going to switch into my Mountain Dew Code Red, just pretty much as fodder, and to try and bait out what set he's using, because I didn't get to see it last time, and I can't risk Victini going for a Vinyl Gambit if he has Sucker Punch. So I'm going to go for the Bullet Punch here, just pretty much trying to scout exactly what set he's using, because this is one of the major threats left on his team that I need to worry about. And he goes for Drain Punch, which finally it goes down. I'm now going to switch into my Venusaur, and I'm going to try and go for the HP Fire. However, he shows he has the Ice Punch, no Sucker Punch. It is completely safe for Victini to come in. So all I need to do is destroy his sub and then go into my Victini. So I've got a plan here. He's got so many +1s, I'm betting he can take out my Tentacruel no problem. I send in my Plasma, go for the Volt Switch, knock out his sub, and go into my Kraken, fully expecting this Drain Punch to KO after so many bulk ups. But I survive on 22 HP. Oh my god, Kraken, you're too defensive for your own good. So here, I was dead positive. I was dead positive he'd go for a sub since I had my Kraken out. But no, he goes for the Drain Punch. That was a perfect opportunity to set up a sub. I would have set up a sub just then, because that was the perfect opportunity. But no, he goes for Drain Punch, and now Rotom's gone. So I've got rid of the sub now, which is good, which means I can go into Victini, go for Final Gambit, and knock out all the hard work that it did just trying to set up. So now all he has left is his Ferrothorn, and really all I have left is my Chansey, since Tentacruel's on like no HP. Now this next part is very, very stally. So I had to speed it up to like 400%. Because now I don't really have anything to take this guy out with, except Seismic Toss, which I'm glad I switched out. So I'm going to keep going for these Seismic Tosses. Thankfully, he does not have Leech Seed. He's more of an offensive set than Stall set, which I'm just so grateful for that. So even after a Power Whip and Iron Barb's recoil, I'm going to be able to recover just enough HP with the Wish that I can just keep going for these Seismic Tosses, and eventually I am going to knock him out, because his only hope was to get a crit on one of these, and he is not so lucky as to do so. So, brought the wrong Pokemon? I don't think that's what happened, because, you know, on the second battle, you kind of brought an entirely new team, and just, you still couldn't beat it. So, that's it for that battle. I guess we can just get to the talk of the day. Today's talk of the day? How about some more Hangman? Today's letter comes from Guti9898, who guesses the letter M. Let's see if there's an M. Alright, you got your M. So, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, if you guys want to take a guess at what the message is, go ahead and send me a PM. Don't put it in a comment. I will remove it. And have a great day. Like that video? Why don't you hit the like button or maybe subscribe to my channel? Or better yet, check out the artists who make this all possible.